Joe Lacob, Under Armour to go by the Oakland A's, keep him in Oakland.
I would wear a Stephen Curry jersey every single day of the year if that happened.
That would be something else, man. Something else.
Who would want to go into business with him? I'm not Steph. I'm John Fisher.
Oh.
Who would right now, Tom Brady's
sounds
going
like Las Vegas is.
Lacob says they're friends.
Well, the only time I've ever seen John Fisher, he had the audacity to go up to the Sacramento Kings game and sit courtside next to Vivek Ranadive like it was all good.
Drives me nuts.
Like it was all good. Can he show his face? Is it going to be an Art Modell situation where Art Modell moved the team from Cleveland to Baltimore? Art Modell never went back into the Stadium of Ohio. Never went back. Will Fisher be able to come back to California? I know he has the earthquakes. And
he never went back to Ohio.
Never went back. Dude, they read him out. Modell, they were looking for him. He moved to Browns. And the Browns haven't been the same since, let's face it.
No, they haven't. I guess, B, where this is all trending, as you see Lionel Messi basically get a cut of the Apple deal for MLS. As you see every single sports entity chase corporate streaming dollars, chase couch dollars, as I call it. It feels to me, now I understand certain organizations, the Warriors are a great example. They're killing it on streams, they're killing it on TV, and they're killing it at the gate. But it feels like to me, everything in every sport now is prioritized toward chasing corporate streaming dollars, and the fan, little Benny and Joey sitting out in the bleachers, has never felt less important.
No, I felt for the fans. I could not imagine. You're about to lose a team that you grew up loving. And they're going, you've lost all your teams, basically. Now, at least the Warriors are across the bridge. It's 7 miles away. The Warriors did play at San Francisco at one point. I think people forget that they did play at the Cow Palace. It's kind of been the Bay Area's team. So
hence the Golden State name, and they were barnstorming up and down the state.
Absolutely. So they played in San Diego for a period of time, for crying out loud. But the Raiders, for moving from Oakland to L.A., back to Oakland, and you get the A's, who were in Philadelphia, Kansas City, but they've been in Oakland for over 50 years. To see them just ripped apart like this, out there in the public display, too, where the fans are helpless. And the team on the field, the players, you have to go to a Major League Park every game, and I'm sure this team loves going on the road because they're saying, wow, look at the big league facilities. The Oakland Coliseum, they don't have better facilities than, say, St. Ignatius. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, where they hold the press conferences to what the locker rooms look like, what the clubhouse looks like, what the dugout looks like. That is worse than minor league facilities.
I know.
I bet you Sacramento has a better facility for the Rivercats than the A's do in Oakland.
Well, I mean, we just saw the Tennessee Volunteer College baseball field. Bonte, that's nicer than anything. I mean,
go look at Sunken Diamond down there in Stafford.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, right?
Could you imagine all those Raider players like the Derek Carrs, the Cleve Furls, who are now no longer on the team, but they were there for Oakland, Max Crosby's going from the Coliseum to Allegiant, which, by the way, just got voted number one when they did the player polls of all the amenities and stuff like that. It's just pretty wild just to think about how behind the times that place really is.
Dude, I watched Alex Smith hold a presser after a Chiefs game in basically an exercise room. Where there were stationary bikes, dumbbell bars, and you got to move them out the way just to get an NFL player to speak. It's just embarrassing. And John Fisher did nothing about it. So, as a fan, do you feel like your owner, whether it's the Mariners ownership group or the Blazers ownership group, and now a lot of Blazer fans want Paul Allen's sister to sell because they wanted to sell it to Phil Knight because she doesn't know what she's exactly doing. And Phil Knight and company want to buy the Blazers and build a stadium or build around that area down there in Portland.
Wow.
She just doesn't want to sell, even though Paul Allen, in his will, basically instructed her to sell the teams. That's another situation. But you get all these ownership groups. Do they owe it to the community to invest in that team? What do you want from your owner?
What I view an owner, and I would love to hear your kind of interpretation of this. Sports is different in a way than normal business, okay? When you run a business, it's cutthroat. It's about the bottom line. I'm talking about a regular business, retail, restaurant, pick whatever you want, right? Tech company. You're trying to profit margins, etc. The way sports is, yes, profit is one element of it. But to me, it's also community-based, and there's a consumer that you really need to be cognizant of. I view ownership the same way that I view me coaching one of my teams.
Right.
I'm a steward of not only the game, but of the community and what product I put out there, what I'm teaching these kids, what we're trying to showcase, how we play is a reflection of me. And it's a reflection of the community that I come from, right? Whether it's the team I'm wearing SFYBL today, could be St. Cecilia's, SFY, whatever it is. If I owned a team, okay, yes, I'm trying to make money. Of course, no one's denying that. But I also, on some level, recognize that I'm not going to own it forever. And I am a steward to a degree of not just the brand name, the Dallas Cowboys, but the greater Dallas area, if I'm talking about them as an example. And I'm a steward. I'm holding the place. I'm appointed to supervise for right now. And yeah, I'm going to make money. I'm going to try to make money. All right. But at the same time, I recognize without fans, I have no business model. You have to recognize that. Okay. And so what frustrates me more than anything is that they're viewing this as a soulless, consumerless business entity, and it can't be farther from the truth. Without emotional attachment to the teams, there is no value in any of these teams. And so it drives me crazy to see an owner like John Fisher who thinks that he has something that's worth X. John, whatever you think the team is worth right now, it could be worth infinitely more. Infinitely. You are talking about a top 5 resume of organizations in baseball history in terms of the accolades that they've achieved. You're talking about a team that has iconic history with iconic uniforms. You've been sitting on a gold mine, and you've basically depreciated the product to be worth close to nothing.
And this is why I don't believe that it wouldn't be able to work here in the Bay Area. I believe the A's could work if you had an owner who gave a damn about the team and gave a damn about the infrastructure and just ponied up. I do believe the A's could work in the Bay Area. It could. We've seen it. But under this guy, he's already got a foot out the door. And now all you need is the governor of Nevada to pass the vote, which he will, because Nevada wants a baseball team. They don't care. They're cutthroat. They want to have every major sport now. And they're closer and closer to getting it. All they're missing is an NBA team now. They're going to get the Oakland A's, or they're going to pass that vote. So what's going to happen with Oakland in the future? If I'm the Oakland A's, or if I'm a fan, I'm forcing the A's. Once this vote gets passed and Major League Baseball says, yeah, we're going to, it's all good, they can relocate to Las Vegas. They cannot play in Oakland next season. You can't let that happen, Major League Baseball.
No.
Go make them play at the minor league facility in Las Vegas. Go make them play at Scottsdale. I don't care. Anywhere but Oakland. You cannot do this to the fans. You cannot do it. They already went through it with the Raiders when they played the lame duck season here when everybody knew they were going to Las Vegas. You cannot allow the A's to play in that stadium after this season. You can't.
Well, and let's take this a step further. How many different corporations have wanted to move to San Francisco? We'll talk about those that want to. I look at the Salesforce Tower, right? When Mark Benioff wanted to come to San Francisco and basically set up this monstrosity of buildings and stuff, which sit empty today, which is kind of an indictment of the Bay Area right now.
Westfield Mall. Ooh.
But Bonte, he worked with city officials in good faith, and they worked together, and they passed off some of the bills to the city, some of them to him. And you know what he did? He slapped millions of dollars on one of our hospitals and helped improve infrastructure. There was, on some level, a partnership, understanding we're going to get a lot of benefits from moving to the city, but I want to be a good community member, and I'm going to meet them halfway. Right? Clorox has done this in Oakland for many, many, many years, right? And part of why I get so frustrated with Twitter as an entity, as a business entity, is because they got so many tax breaks and have done nothing for the city. Yeah. They've done nothing for the city. Absolutely nothing. And we bent over backwards to give them tax breaks in the same way that everyone has bent over backwards for the A's at every single turn, and they don't care about us as a community.
They don't. Well said.